You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
From hobby farmers to weekend gardeners and everyone in between, Tractor Supply trusts 5G solutions from T-Mobile for Business to make shopping more personal. Together, we're connecting over 2,200 stores with 5G business internet and powering AI so team members can match shoppers with products faster.
You're all set.
This is enriching customer experience. This is Tractor Supply with T-Mobile for Business. Take your business further at T-Mobile.com/now.
It's time to get inside the Giants Huddle.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
On Giants.com.
I like it, I like it.
And the Giants mobile app.
Boom, give me some juice.
Part of the Giants Podcast Network.
Let's roll.
Welcome to the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the New York Giants. This is a Week 6 rapid reaction. Madelyn Burke, along with the Super Bowl champion Shaun as the Giants fall to the visiting Bengals 17-7 on Sunday Night Football. And Shaun, when you look at the way that this one started, Joe Burrow, a 47-yard touchdown run, a career long for him. You think, oh no, another one of these games. But we've seen games like that before this season where a play doesn't go your way at the beginning of the game. The Giants are resilient. They turn it around. This one, not the story. The defense played well, but the offense couldn't put points on the board.
Yeah, I don't think the Giants ever recovered from that Joe Burrow touchdown run. It's almost like they could not just get back into sync. Obviously you score 7 points at home. You're not going to win a lot of football games. And that's really what's so maddening right now is that this offense is just stuck in neutral. You might even call it reverse, but it's self-inflicted wounds, turnovers down in the red zone, things that you can't do, and yet we keep seeing it happen week in and week out. At some point, they've got to stop the bleeding. At some point, they've got to turn it around. And, when you hold the Cincinnati Bengals to 17 points and really 7 of that came at the very end of the game, that's a phenomenal performance by the defense. You should be walking out of the stadium with your head held high saying, hey, look, our defense balled out. They should have been the story of the game. And instead, it was this putrid offense right now that just cannot seem to get right. Even without Malik Neighbors, without Devin Singletary, they had chances to win this game. They had chances to score points. And they made mistakes, mental mistakes, physical mistakes, missing field goals. Like, you can't have that. It's dysfunctional football offensively. And it's a shame because it basically it just basically negates a wonderful defensive performance. I think Shane Bowen, we should be talking about the game plan that he had. Look, Jamar Chase was the most doubled receiver in the league coming into this game, and they shut him down. Like, defensively, we should be giving them credit. We should be giving them flowers for how well they got after Joe Burrow. They sacked him 4 times. It was really a good physical performance with no Kayvon Thibodeau, who was put on IR earlier this week. I thought Azeez Ojulari really stepped up. That was big. Burns had a big game. Great game from Tyler Nubin, Micah McFadden, Bobby Okereke forced another fumble. So all the plays were there defensively to win the game, and they just came up short again because the offense is dysfunctional right now.
And the one offensive score came as a result of a defensive play. The defense forced a fumble, recovered it, and the offense was able to get down the field, score a touchdown. Tyrone Tracy, a 1-yard rushing touchdown. That drive, too, Brian Daboll was aggressive with it. It was the third quarter. He was like, no, we're going to go for it on 4th down. They had 2 4th-and-2 conversions. They ran the ball effectively. And when you think about how effective the running game was working for them on that touchdown drive, and then you look at the fact that, okay, the Giants rushed for 119 yards on the day, and Daniel Jones was the leading rusher with 56 on the ground.
Yeah, I don't think you go into a game wanting your quarterback to be the leading rusher. That's what ended up happening. But I felt like they could have fed Tyrone Tracy a little bit more. Like, he could have had 25 carries. The game was within reach. And it just feels like they're taking the wrong times and the wrong opportunities to have that big blow-up mistake. Look, Daniel Jones made some good throws, made some good plays. But the aggressiveness, really on offense – and going for 4th down 5 times, it's almost like it's not so much aggressive as much as it's desperate. Like, I'm desperate to create something, make something happen. You saw them kind of going up tempo. They're trying offensively to get out of this funk and to get into more of a rhythm. But the fourth downs, like Dable's always been aggressive, and that's his style. That's his play call. You're damned if you do and you're damned if you don't. If you don't convert, everybody's going to question you. If you never go for them, people are going to say you're too conservative. So, I don't fault them for any of that. I just think the execution needs to be better.
You're ready for a change. Payday comes early with Citizens, so go to that retreat. New you moves to the country. Now you're raising goats and launching a lifestyle brand. Are you ready for all that life brings?
Are you a morning person? Or when you roll out of bed, do you literally roll out of bed? Listen, mornings can be hard to handle. From the moment you open your eyes, your responsibilities and to-dos start piling up in your head. But you know what helps? Yep, a shower. But not just any shower, a shower with Irish Spring. Yeah, as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. Oh, yeah. All those to-dos are totally doable. Because that crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from that glorious shower, 37 minutes later, because let's be honest, you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want. You're ready to take on the day. And smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Look for Irish Spring in the soap aisle at Walmart.
Right. And going for it did inspire some sparks and has created in games past and in tonight's game a little bit of positive momentum when you do convert that fourth down and when you get it. We talked a little bit too with special teams. Greg Joseph missing 2 field goals is tough. It's tough to see that happen in a game in which that could be a deciding factor. It's a very different tone of a game when you're tied at 10 versus when you're trailing and the defense is back on the field. And realistically, that Joe Burrow 47-yard touchdown run at the very beginning of the game, and then the Giants tie it at 7 in the third quarter. The defense holds the Bengals to a field goal, so it's 10-7. And it wasn't really until after the final 2-minute warning where Chase Brown had that 30-yard touchdown run that was really the dagger that made it 17-7. But the Giants are in this, and it's 10-7. Greg Joseph misses a field goal. Okay, that's a tough one. The offense isn't able to convert. It's just a comedy of errors at some point.
Yeah, when you miss a field goal like that and all of a sudden, hey, it's 10-10, I mean, it's a totally different vibe. You could feel it in the stadium. It was kind of like, oh, man, here we go. We're going to find another way to lose this game. And the Giants, every week, they're inventing new ways to lose, and it's frustrating. It's maddening. You look at the defense, what they did. They forced 6 punts by the Bengals. Like, they hadn't done that all year. And yet, when you can't make a field goal, then the next time you're a little bit more hesitant, like, hey, the field goal is not a guarantee. So, you know what, maybe I do need to go for it. And then now maybe you are playing a little bit sideways on that. But it's really been frustrating. I mean, now, you're not going to put the entire game on the kicker, but, this game, the Washington game, if Graham Gano doesn't get hurt in that game, maybe the outcome of that is totally different. So, you look at those 2 games in itself, it could be a different season right now, but you're 2-4. You got to find a way to fight out of it.
Absolutely. And like you mentioned, the punting, the penalties, also Cincinnati, 6 penalties for 67 yards. The Giants had pretty clean sheet, 2 penalties for 9 yards. If you look at just the stats without the final score and you say, okay, who won this team? Statistically, the Giants jump off the page almost.
Yeah, and you mentioned the 2 penalties. One of those penalties was on Andrew Thomas. It was an illegal man downfield, and it happened on an RPO, which is basically you call a run play in the huddle, and the offensive linemen are blocking the run play. They have no idea that it's going to be a pass and you're going to throw it, and yet they deemed he was down the field on that big run by Darius Slayton, run after the catch. And that was a huge momentum. Yards, yeah. I mean, the place was going nuts. It was right, before the end of the half. We're down in the tunnel, getting ready to walk out, Super Bowl 42 and 46 teams, and the place goes nuts, and everybody's, celebrating, and then you hear people yelling, flag, flag. That was so deflating. And something as simple as that, I don't fault Andrew Thomas for that. That's not his fault. He has no idea. I think that rule needs to be kind of tweaked because of, it's a little bit ticky-tacky when you look at where the ball was thrown and where that foul occurred. But, again, that's just bad football right there. And to negate a big play like that, this offense is not good enough to overcome that right now.
You love turf. You're good at it. So you start a turf biz. Business grows, your savings grow. Become the most celebrated name in turf. Are you ready for all that life brings?
Are you a morning person? Or when you roll out of bed, do you literally roll out of bed? Listen, mornings can be hard to handle. From the moment you open your eyes, your responsibilities and to-dos start piling up in your head. But you know what helps? Yep, a shower. But not just any shower, a shower with Irish Spring. Yeah, as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. Oh, yeah. All those to-dos are totally doable. Because that crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from that glorious shower, 37 minutes later, because let's be honest, you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want. You're ready to take on the day. And smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Look for Irish Spring in the soap aisle at Walmart.
And it's tough to have a performance like this, a loss like this, at a night that you mentioned, Super Bowl teams. You know, those 7 and 11 Super Bowl teams were being honored as the Giants continue to celebrate their 100th season. You've got a lot of veterans and former players from this franchise in the building, and you want to see the nights that they're celebrating the history of the Giants having something to celebrate in the present.
Yeah, it would be nice, you know, when you're here and you're kind of, you know, getting back together with some of your former teammates. It's tough to watch bad football. It's tough to watch a team struggle through it. And at the same time, we've been there. Like, you know what? Yeah, sure, we won the championships and, you know, we won the Super Bowl in those years. But we also remember as players the tough years, you know, and it's hard, but you got to fight your way out of it. And you got to find a way somehow to overcome it. You know, they're not a bad football team. You're just sometimes good football teams play bad ball, and that's what they got to eliminate.
Well, and they've got a good football team coming to MetLife next week because, of course, the Giants turning the page to Week 7 and back at MetLife Stadium. This one not in prime time, a 1 o'clock matchup with the division rival Philadelphia Eagles. The Eagles are the only team in the NFC East to get the win in Week 6. And this is going to be an emotional game as well because this is going to be Saquon Barkley's first game as a visiting player. As, of course, Saquon signed with the Eagles in the offseason. It's going to be an interesting atmosphere, Shaun.
I think it's going to be really interesting to see how the fans react to it. You know, I know the Eagles, the hatred for the Eagles runs deep in this building, and we haven't played well against them over the past few years. Saquon hasn't played well against them, so you hope that you know that trend doesn't change here as he comes in. But I'm sure it'll be a tough day and a weird day for him. He's going to come to MetLife, and he's going to be in the visiting locker room. You know, it's going to be different for him being in here. For fans, you've seen him on TV wearing a green jersey, but this will be the first time seeing him in an actual Eagles uniform. I think the big challenge really is defensively. Like, can you break him down? Can you tackle him? Can you handle? I mean, he's an explosive player. You know, he can take pretty much any run or any catch to the house on any given play. So that's going to be a big challenge for the defense. But this offense for the Eagles, it's not just about Saquon. A.J. Brown's back. He had a monster game. Devontae Smith is a handful. And Jalen Hurts, you know, he can do a lot of damage with his legs as well. So it's going to be another big challenge for this Giants defense. I feel like they'll be up to it. The question is, can the offense find a way to score some points?
Absolutely. And can the offense score some points? Will the offense be at full strength? We'll be monitoring whether Malik Neighbors is clear to return from concussion protocol. Again, he missed Sunday Night Football, his second straight game, missed due to a concussion. Devin Singletary also working his way back from a groin injury. We'll monitor the kicking situation. Graham Gano is going to be eligible to return from IR relatively soon. And will the Giants be healthy? Of course, Andrew Thomas, after the game on Sunday night, telling reporters that he's going to be getting some imaging on Monday morning on his foot. So we'll see how that pans out for him as well.
Yeah, obviously Andrew Thomas, big concern. You know, he's the Giants' best offensive lineman. Did not have a great game against the Bengals. Trey Hendrickson kind of took advantage of that. He was noticeably limping, so you're not sure when that impacted him and how it's going to impact him moving forward. So something to definitely keep an eye on because the offensive line has been a strength this season. You know they're doing a good job when you're not talking about them, and they really have not been a part of the story at all this season. So definitely need Andrew Thomas back. But I think also, like, offensively, what are you trying to be? Like, let's figure out what kind of offense we want to be. Tyrone Tracy is electric. He's got a lot of juice right now. He needs to be a big part of this offense. Even if Devin Singletary is back, Tracy's got a little bit of that it factor in him, and he can't touch the ball enough.
Absolutely, and we'll see how it all goes down. Week 7 back at MetLife Stadium as the Giants host the Eagles. That's a wrap for our Week 6 Rapid Reaction, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the New York Giants. From game day celebrations to your everyday financial needs, Big Blue fans can get the most out of every moment with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/Giants. For Shaun O'Hara, I'm Madelyn Burke, and that's a wrap on Week 6 as the Giants fall to the Bengals 17-7 on Sunday Night Football.